Hello and welcome to this demonstration of parents booking. As you can see, we're beginning here having logged into the administration area. So just before we begin, we want to set out that there are three different types of users. There are parents and guardians, and they log into a different website and are able to make their appointments there. There are teachers and staff who have a lower level of privilege and again log into a different website. And here you have the admin area, and the administrators have the highest level of privilege. And their tasks are generally to create parents' evenings, but also perhaps events, clubs, wraparounds, and more. And having created those, they can use the inbuilt communication tools to send out invites and reminders, and of course, everything that's required from printing and emailing, schedules and bookings, through to being able to help parents and guardians. So as you can see from this dashboard, these are some of the things that I have already set up in this test school. So you can see that we have a breakfast club every day, there's a parents evening coming up, and then a variety of events and clubs. From your dashboard, you can use the options button to cycle through some of the shortcuts that might be most helpful to you. So inviting parents, chasing parents who've not booked, printing schedules, etc. But we'll come back here. What I'd like to do, first of all, is begin by taking you through Parents Bookings admin area and showing you how you would use it to create a parents' evening, first of all. Now, what you'll notice is that in the top left corner, you're able to use breadcrumbs to navigate through the different sections of the website. And then down the left-hand side, of course, is our menu. And this menu's in an order, so you would typically go from the top to the bottom. If we go into Setup School, you'll normally find that your school's account has been long set up. So the school's name and address and other parts are in here. So you can do things like change the logo and map, for example. So the map is a way of you being able to visually explain where the rooms are in the school, and that might match to room numbers you have on the parents' confirmation. But again, we can talk about that later. Let's go to upload data. The way this works is that every parents booking school needs to import students, parents, and teachers or staff from the school's database. And that happens in different ways. So typically, parents booking will integrate automatically with your school's database. So it will sync, it will pull in those records, and as they change, it will update itself so that you always have the most up-to-date database here. And you can see that I can do that here by setting up this automatic data transfer. So this button would click open and I just pop in some details, and that would begin the process of onboarding the data sync. But this is different for every type of school. So what you'll often do is click on this button down here, instruction guide, and that will launch a guide specific to your school's needs. So depending which school database you use, there will be specific instructions. If for any reason you don't want to use a school data sync or your school's database doesn't support that, there is also a way to upload your data by spreadsheet. You'll see that mentioned here. Again, the instructions will tell you how to do that, but you can create a spreadsheet of the data and upload it. Now, this is a very important thing to do before you go any further because without uploading data, we don't have any parents, teachers, classes, and you can't set parents' evenings, events, clubs, trips up. So you would do this first. And as I'll say throughout the site, if you ever need any help, you would simply click on the help button or book some live training. And these buttons are in the top right corner of the pages. If we now click on the parents page, you'll see that this is full of parents. These are example parents from my test school. You can click on the edit button for a parent, and that will let you see the students' details as well. And if we go back to my parent list, as well as being able to edit and delete records here, there is a way to add a voucher balance to parents. So, for example, if your school accepts childcare vouchers or similar, you can enter a voucher balance here, and then when parents log in, they can use that voucher balance on events, clubs, and wraparounds that you let them use it on in lieu of payment. Okay. If we go to the teachers page now, you'll see here a variety of teachers too, and with each teacher, you'll see that they teach a certain number of students. And we'll take an email address so that we can send an email to this teacher to offer them a login. If I click on one of my teachers, you can see the class list. So this is Selena's class. These are the students that she teaches drama to. And if I go back to my teachers list, one of the cool things you can do as well is you can log in to a teacher's account. So I can see what a teacher would see when they log in, which gives you an element of both control and the ability to help them. There's an array of extra things you can do, everything from creating and moving around class codes as well. And when you need to, you can download the timetables in Excel if you want to check them, which some schools do. So this has all come from the fact that we've imported our school's data. It's created the teachers, it's created the parents, the students, it's linked the students to their teachers. So now when we go to the evenings page, we can create a parents' evening. If I click on the spring term here, you can see some parents' evening that I've got set up already. So the point here is that you create parents' evenings inside of a term. So just go back and we will create a new example term. Okay. And having done that, you'll see it down here on the right-hand side. That's my example term. And I'm going to create a parents' evening. So we will call this the demo parents' evening. And the first thing I'm going to do is choose the day that it's on. So I'm going to have this open in the middle of July, and you have to choose a start and end time. So I'm going to have this open 5:30 at night, and it's going to go on until about, let's say, 8 o'clock. Okay, I'm going to make these 5-minute appointments. And as you see here, it's not expecting that because I do things differently. Normally, I must set them up as 10 minutes. So it's just checking. That's fine, no problem. It's just to give you a little prompt just in case. I'm going to have a 1-minute gap between my meetings because I'm also going to make these video appointments. So they'll run for 5 minutes and have a 1-minute gap. And as you see, you just go through the questions, answering them. So I am going to choose that this opens tomorrow morning, let's say 10 a.m. And it has to have been booked by, we'll say the 22nd, day before, maybe at 9 a.m., something like that. Now, having done that, you keep going down through the questions here. You would choose different settings depending on your needs. So I'm actually going to stop my parents being able to book back to back. Again, didn't expect that. It's just checking if that's correct. And at the bottom, it's going to ask me which year groups it's for. So I'm going to choose that it's for S5 and S6. Those are two of the later year groups in Scotland. Now, once you've saved your parents' evening, it's going to show you a list of the teachers and it's going to ask you if any of them are not needed. So as you'll see in a second, there's going to be a table of teachers and you would just untick those who you don't want parents to be able to book. And where the class is shared, it'll show you both teachers and you can simply untick the one that you don't want to be available. So I'm going to untick a couple of teachers here. These are teachers that can't be booked by parents. Now, in this case, for the science class, perhaps I do want both teachers to be able to be booked. And what you'll notice is there's a question here, link bookings. So if I set this no to a yes, then if I have a parent book Mr. Forward at say 5 o'clock, it would book Miss Hall at the exact same time. So with these being video meetings, when the parent logs in and joins their meetings, both those teachers will actually be in that video meeting together. So that's what that's for. With this other one here, book separately, if I allow the parents to book both Kim and Mr. James Watling and change this to yes, this would let the parents book them both separately. Or if I leave it as no and no, they can only book one of them. So they're not linked, they're not allowed to book them separately. They can only book one. Okay. Now we're going to save this. And once we've done that, that is the parents' evening set up. It's that simple. I'm going to go back to my evenings page and you can see my parents' evening here. And if I go to options, one of the things I can do is send the parents their invite now. And once you've done that, that's the parents' evening out. So in the time that we've been watching this video, a couple of minutes, that's everything set up already. And what we have here is a template email that's ready to be sent out. So it's telling the parents what website to go to log in. It's going to mail merge in some of the login details. So sometimes there's a username and password for parents. Sometimes they're typing in personal information. Sometimes they just log in with a single sign-on. So Google or Microsoft or similar. When I'm happy with this message, I would then just want to send this out so you can see all the parents here. I would just press one of the buttons at the top. So I'm either going to invite selected parents, so I can tick those, or I can invite the main contact. So within the school's database, typically one parent will be the main contact. And if I want, I can just send it to everyone. And when you press invite all, that will send the invite out. Depending on what technology your school uses for comms, parents booking can integrate with that. It may well go out through that. If not, it'll come direct from parents booking. The parents will get a link. It will tell them how to log in. And they can actually RSVP know. So if they're not coming, they can let you know and they can provide an explanation of why as well. So you can see if maybe the times didn't suit them or if there was another reason, because that's good qualitative feedback. Now, once the invite's gone out, you would normally sit back and wait for the bookings to come in. But if you were asked by a parent to make some bookings, or if you want to make some bookings in advance, maybe prioritize certain parents, the Manage Bookings page lets you do that. So here you can see all the things that I have set up. And if I go into my demo parents evening, you'll be able to see the timetable and the teachers. So this is a teacher called Miss Care who teaches business. These are all her available times. Let's flip to another teacher. We'll go to maths. Here's Mr. James Watling. If I click on a time, I can then choose which student and parent is going to be booked at that time. And there's different ways of doing that. I can type in a student's name. I can search for them by their reg class or their class code or their year group. There are no year groups in this data set, but normally there would be. I'm going to select S6 and I'm going to make the booking for Stephanie Panther. And then it asks which parent to book. So there's two parents here. I'm going to book Rachel and press finish. And the reason I picked one particular one was because that's who the confirmation email will go to. If the parents are ever separated, then at least they can have separate schedules and we know who is booked in at what time. Other things you can do in here include being able to cancel appointments and also share and transfer appointments to different teachers. And of course, you can print and email the parents' schedules as well if helpful. Something that I also really like if I go back to manage bookings is the ability to log in as a parent. So like how you can log in as a teacher, the admin can log in as a parent. That lets them see what the parent sees, and they can use a wizard the parents have got that lets you book multiple teachers all at once, perhaps across multiple students as well. So if there's twins with 5 teachers each, that's a really quick way to make 10 bookings. Now, once your parents' evening has been created, you can go to reports and you can look at its statistics. And we actually divide this into two halves. So things that are forthcoming and things that are in the past. So if I was to go to my example term and click on the demo parents' evening, I'll be able to see some statistics. Now, obviously not very many people have booked yet, so these pie charts are more red than blue, but that will flip round. And actually, if we go to, let's go to another parents' evening that's had more bookings in it. You can see here some statistics, and one of the things I like is that you can see the distribution of times, and this helps you understand which are the most popular times. And for example, with the RSVP feature I mentioned earlier, perhaps parents are saying to you, these times don't suit, and that might correlate to this chart. It might give you consideration to maybe have the parents' evening appointments at a different time to try and attain a higher attendance. So as you can see, there's still 85% of my appointments remaining. And what you can do is you can run reports, which gives this tab its name. So I can see who's not booked and who has, and I can download a big list of bookings. These are useful tasks for the night of the parents' evening. I can also see who's RSVP'd no, as we discussed, and even later, if a video meeting didn't connect, you can go and see why and whose it was. Now, to go back to the very beginning, if we go to the dashboard, all of the things I've been showing you are actually the shortcuts we mentioned earlier on. So for my parents' evening here on options, we've shown you invite, and the reports are actually in check stats. There's other things that we shortcut to more so here, for example, being able to print and email the teacher schedules, and a way to chase the parents, a way to add breaks. But ultimately, everything is here on your dashboard, helpfully shortcutted. Let's look at the day of the parents' evening. On the day of the parents' evening, you'll get a dashboard notification here and an email sent to the school admin to remind them to come in and do final tasks. So that might be in advance of the parents' evening to chase parents who've not booked yet, but typically it would be to come in and go to this print, email, and view teacher schedules page. You can click on one teacher to see their schedule, so let's do that. So this is a teacher called Miss Selena Andrews. She teaches drama. It's showing us the bookings that she's got, and it's very very easy to email her her schedule or print it off. But if I go back a page, this control panel on the right hand side is the place where you can do that for all teachers. So I can print all my teachers' schedules with, or in this case, with available times or without. And you can also do things like email parents a reminder of their booking. So this will send every parent who's booked their schedule again to remind them it's tonight. So there's bulk tasks like that. You can also email the teachers their schedules. And that just helps make sure that everyone knows where their appointments are, what time they're at, and remembers about the parents' evening. That is how you create a parents' evening end to end, but there is more you can do in parents' booking. There's an events and clubs tab here that will also allow you to go and create events and clubs. So, for example, if I go into my term 3, you can see some of the events and clubs I've created in the past. So I have a Lion King event and an Aladdin event. Events are where parents are booking tickets online, places, seats as well, things like that. So these would be things that parents could go online and either reserve tickets for or pay for online, because parents booking can integrate with your school's payment system, so you can take payments online. And you can also set up clubs. So clubs would be where a parent is signing a student up. There's two types of club. There's a simple club, so maybe that runs weekly or monthly, something like that. And there's a more complicated club, which we call a wraparound. And wraparounds are where there's a calendar, the parents pick certain days from that calendar that maybe they want to drop their child off for breakfast club or after school club. But it's more of a daily club where we expect the attendance to be different every day. You can see for that reason there's an event, club, and wraparound here that you can create. And these are very easy. If we edit the Lion King here, you can see that we give it a name and a description and then choose which students are able to be booked for, or which parents, which students can book it. This has got two dates, so we have the 30th of December and the 29th as well. Those two dates been put in. You can choose a capacity and a venue and a cost. And then down here, you can set up your payment gateway and then choose whether parents do need to pay online at the point of purchase or not, and if they're allowed to use their voucher balance to pay, as we spoke about earlier. You can also set a limit, so I have a maximum of 2 bookings for each family member. And it's as simple as that. Parents, again, can be invited. You can chase the parents that haven't booked. And of course, you can see who has and hasn't booked and even check the transactions. So if I go back a step and we go into the options here, you can very simply, just like before, send out the invite. Okay. I hope that helps. What I will say just before we finish is that every page in Parents Booking has a help and oftentimes a training button as well. If you need any help, just press help and you'll be helped by one of the support team. We offer a very personal service. You can pick up the phone or you can drop us an email and we'll be very happy to help you. But we do also offer free daily training every single day, which you can book from within Parents Booking too. Hope that helps.